All
I
right.
decided to look at a map, look at where all the tracks are, and kind of pinpoint cities and decide the 10 best cities to live in America if you're a NASCAR fan.
Ooh.
And so I have this list. I've done it
I like your list here.
with math, right? So there's no opinion behind this. This is pure math.
No factual evidence. The numbers are due to change.
Well, when the schedule changes, yeah, actually. So what I did is I broke it down into like 4 different categories. Average distance from NASCAR tracks within 300 miles. So, like Charlotte, you'll have like X amount of tracks that are within the 300 miles, and then you take an average. So you divide that by however many, right?
Okay.
So I break it down like that, and then I do number of tracks within 300 miles. So they get a score for the number of tracks. And then
you have had some time on your hands.
And then number of races. This is a whole thing.
You're brainstorming on the ninth tee.
This is a whole thing. Just shut up and listen. Then I break it down by number of races, right? So like Charlotte, for instance, gets a lot more races than Atlanta, stuff like that. And then percentage share of fans, which is a thing I found. The statistic survey thing back in 2018. That was the latest year they had it. They do a share of fans. And so I've broken it down, given them each scores for how they rank in each of those 4 categories, and then came out with the conclusion based on pure numbers. So I have the top 10 best cities in America to live if you're a NASCAR fan. If you're somebody like me, and you're like, man, I don't live in a good NASCAR area, I would like to relocate to a good NASCAR area.
I need to get the fuck out of here and get to some NASCAR races. Here
are 10 cities you can live in.
All right. Okay? Is this any order or just 10 to 1?
No, this is you know what? I'll do the bottom, so like 10 up to 1. How about that?
All right.
Okay. So technically it starts at number 8 because there's a couple ties. So it's like the 10th city, but technically they would be number 8 because there's a few ties. The numbers don't lie. Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee with a score of 6.75. So I'm giving you my numbers.
Dude, you should go to MIT or something.
I know, I should, right? Or at least teach a lecture on NASCAR statistics. Number 7. Following it up in the volunteer state, once again, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Ooh, 2 Tennessees right off the bat, dude.
Yep.
I feel like Tennessee is a cool state, period.
Yes. Tennessee is a cool state, and I think it really helps them with the addition of the Nashville race, obviously, because that helped with distance to a track. It helped with adding an extra race.
You can go north or south from Tennessee.
That's another thing. Yeah. So you can go to Talladega, you can go to Atlanta. Charlotte gets a little bit further, but either way, yeah, you can go north and south. Them losing the Kentucky race kind of hurt Tennessee because that was close to Tennessee. True. But adding a Nashville race is even better because now it's just right in their state. Moving on to number 6, Jacksonville, Florida, with a score of 5.5.
Wow.
Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming in. I love Jacksonville, man. It's a fun
Jacksonville, Florida. Where they actually really excelled was kind of random, was share of fans. They had a good percentage for share of fans. Apparently, they got a lot of fans in Jacksonville, Florida. And now we have a tie at 5th. So we get 2 placed at 5th. The first one, Richmond, Virginia. Richmond, Virginia with a score of 4.5. I think people forget, I forgot until I looked it up, how many tracks you can drive to if you're in Virginia. It's insane.
You can go north.
There's
north
2. There's 2 in Virginia. Virginia. Then Charlotte, Darlington, Bristol. Yeah, you can go north. There's Dover. I mean,
I got some buds in Virginia, man. They live like 20 minutes from Martinsville, and they go to quite a bunch of races. I'm like, motherfuckers.
Not to mention the share of fans. Virginia had a shit ton. Like, all of the Virginia area was like covered with. They have a lot of NASCAR fans in Virginia, apparently, which is wild to me. I had no idea. And then tied with them at number 5. Any guesses?
I want to say like Midwest.
You would guess wrong. I'll tell you right now, it's all in the South.
Oh, shit. Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia. Good guess.
Oh, I took a wild guess.
Atlanta, Georgia tied with Richmond for 5th with a score of 4.5.
I'm in good distance to go to quite a few races.
Yeah, you are. Like I said, these are cities, so it's not just like rural towns. I'm sure there's like towns in the middle of nowhere that are like, you know, the Mecca, right? Because you're just in between everything. This has to be like around 100,000 people minimum to be considered a city, in my opinion. But yeah, Atlanta really excelled in number of tracks in the area, excelled in number of races in the area, and you know, Sheriff fans didn't do quite as well. But those are the areas that Atlanta really excelled in. Number 4, Raleigh, North Carolina. No surprise there. We're starting to hit the North Carolina areas
the
now.
Carolinas.
Yeah, they tear it up. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised there. Yeah, Raleigh, North Carolina coming in at 4th. Makes sense. Number 3, Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay.
They did,
I'm not far from Greenville.
Greenville had a really good area because it's close to all North Carolina, Bristol. You can go into Tennessee, down to Atlanta, and then you can go up north to Virginia to those races as well. So Greenville did really well. And now we're getting into the heavy hitters. There's 2 tied for number 2. This one, I think, will surprise everyone. Roanoke, Virginia.
Wow, the Virginia, man. They're getting 2 towns in this one?
Roanoke, Virginia, tied for 2nd. Best city to live if you're a NASCAR fan. Roanoke, Virginia. Have you ever been to Roanoke, Virginia? I have never even, like...
I don't think I've been to Roanoke. I've been through Virginia, like, several times. It's real pretty and everything.
Same.
I'm also like...
Virginia's very pretty, but...
I don't mind coal, so I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never like spent any time in Roanoke. I never even thought about it. But location-wise, they're in a great location for a lot of races. It's really close to Martinsville, actually, which is something I never knew. It's really, really close to Martinsville. But I think the biggest thing that excelled for them was they were ranked number 1 for share of fans, for share of NASCAR fans. They were ranked right above Charlotte.
How many fucking people live in Roanoke?
Right? They had 32% of NASCAR fans in Roanoke.
Who's doing this damn poll?
Roanoke, Virginia. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. It seems almost made up because it seems wild. Location-wise, it's very good. But the share of the fans, I had no idea. If anybody that listens to this show is from the Roanoke area, I'd love to hear from you because if this is really like a NASCAR mecca, I'm moving there tomorrow. It sounds awesome. Tied for 2nd is Greensboro, North Carolina, another North Carolina location. It's in the Piedmont region, you know, famous for NASCAR. That's old school NASCAR shit. Not really surprising because they're also north of Charlotte. So they're close enough to go to the Virginia races as well, but close enough to go down to Darlington and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they were also high on the Sheriff fans. They were ranked number 3. And number 1.
I'm concerned with who's number 1. Who we got here?
Well, this shouldn't be a surprise. You should guess this. What city?
Charlotte.
Yeah, obviously it's Charlotte. That should have been.
That's where they all fucking live.
That's where they all live. I mean, let's be honest. It's yeah. There's no surprise there. It is where Charlotte is from. If you're a NASCAR fan, that's like trying to work in the film industry and live anywhere other than Hollywood or LA. You know,
right.
It's like if you want to be in the NASCAR community, you want to be in the NASCAR world, you kind of have to live in Charlotte. I mean, it's the Hollywood. You know,
I almost moved to
NASCAR.
Mooresville once, man. I was trying to chase a dream, and like I almost moved there. It's like I feel like all that area just is NASCAR, and if you ain't with it, then go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Houston and oil. Like if you ever, I lived in Houston, and it's, you know, it's a stereotype, but it's true. Like everybody when they get out of college works in oil. Like that whole city is run by oil. I feel like that's how Charlotte is for NASCAR. It's like people just work in NASCAR because it's such a big industry there. So it's banking and NASCAR in Charlotte. That's what you do in Charlotte. So it should come as no surprise that Charlotte was my number 1 city to live if you're a NASCAR fan. I'll just go down the list one more time real quick. Number 1, Charlotte. Number 2, Greensboro, North Carolina. Tied for number 2, Roanoke, Virginia. Number 3, Greenville, South Carolina. Number 4, Raleigh, North Carolina. Number 5, Atlanta, Georgia. Tied at number 5, Richmond, Virginia. Number 6, Jacksonville, Florida. Number 7, Knoxville, Tennessee. And number 8, Nashville, Tennessee. It's 10 cities with 2 ties. So that's what it came out to. If you're from any of those areas, we'd love to hear from you. I'd like to hear what it's like in those areas. It'd be really cool. I know, for instance, Dakota, you're from the Atlanta area. And obviously, the city of Atlanta isn't going to be like, heavily NASCAR, right? Because it's NASCAR. But I'm sure, some of the more rural areas where you're at, there are NASCAR fans. I still
spot some NASCAR swag in the wild.
Right. Yeah, you don't see that around here. So even when we went to that bar in your town and there was like NASCAR shit in the bar, I was like, you don't see that in Texas. Like, that's not a thing.
I can go to several places where it'd be like, dude, let me buy that Kevin hood.
Yeah, see, that's not a thing here. And so I think maybe people that grow up in areas like that actually have NASCAR fans don't really understand. It's like, once you leave those areas, you don't see stuff like that. That's not common. So for our listeners that are like me in areas where NASCAR is not a big thing, there you go. If you want to relocate to a NASCAR area, I just gave you 10 options. Pick one of them.
Hello, come right in.